Well, it's hard work out there on the shop floor of retail land. Even the big new entrants vying for a chunk of the market are struggling. Take Zara, the Spanish fashion retailer whose profits were down a third for the 12 months to January, and Swedish chain H&M lost money in their last full year results to November. But for David Jones, now under new management after its takeover by South Africa's Woolworth's holdings, the signs are that business is looking up. Last week, the department store posted its strongest sales in 8 years, up 6.4% in the year to June, with the second half especially strong. So, has DJ's got its mojo back? Well, Woolworth's CEO Ian Moir was talking at the Australia-Israel Chamber of Commerce lunch today, and I caught up with him there. Ian Moir, thank you for joining me.
Pleasure.
Very good sales results just come through in the last week. You've done quite a lot in terms of changing the brand mix. What has actually driven these stronger results?
I think it's really doing what the customer's been looking for. So we spent a long time looking into the brands that were working, the products and categories that were working, those that were resonating for the customer. And what we did is those that weren't working, we took out of the store. Those that were working, either brands or categories, we put more of them in the store. What we also did is we cleared a lot of the older goods that were there. We made sure there was constant newness, availabilities were better, and also improved significantly the level of service in store, which was a real issue for the David Jones customer.
Is that actually a step change, do you think, on the service front? Because it seems to me that this might have been quite a lot of low-hanging fruit for you this last year.
Yeah, the improvement in the service levels has been, to a degree, low-hanging fruit, but certainly a step change for us. So we've instituted a new program, and we've also changed the nature of employment in the stores. So we've moved to much more permanent and full-time. People who are more committed, who we can give more product knowledge to, who are better trained, who are more engaged, more motivated. And we're seeing the customers respond really positively to that. And certainly we measure customer service through a net promoter score. So, you know, are you going to say something nice about us or negative? And we've managed to move that significantly in relation to our service. So I think the team have done a great job of making the customer happier with the level of service that they're getting from the David Jones stores.
When I spoke to you almost a year ago, just after you'd acquired David Jones, you were very strong on customer relationship management. Now, clearly, you're in the middle of this process, but in terms of dollars, there's going to be quite a lot of investment in this space.
Yeah, we're going to have to spend a scary amount of money in order to bring David Jones to the point where it can have an excellent customer relationship management program, where we can have a database of customer that we can conjoin with the Country Road Group, have 4 million people that we really understand and know, have information on, and use that information to drive everything we do in the business. So it's going to cost us tens of millions to invest in those systems and capabilities to get that right. But when we do, it will give us an enormous advantage. And I think the customer will see it in terms of them being more rewarded, have a better relationship, us being more informed about them, and then going into store and saying, do you know what, these guys really understand me, they've got the products I'm looking for at the prices I'm willing to pay, and are giving me a service that I really like.
That does sound like a lot of investment. Are we talking over time about fewer stores but much better and high-value stores?
No, we see opportunity to open more David Jones stores, and we will open them both in Australia and in New Zealand. We announced recently that we will take the David Jones brand to New Zealand, but we see many more stores opening over time, smaller in size than the stores we have, and we'll see rationalisation in terms of the size of some of the stores that exist. But those stores, we'll spend a lot of money on our big stores in making them the best retail environments in Australia. I think it's what our customers deserve.
So are we still on track for that 5-year target of adding $130 million to the bottom line?
Yeah, we're confident of that. We've gone out to the market and said we're confident of delivering more than that and delivering it more quickly than that. And the first signs are really positive.
Tell me about this new announcement that you've made around food, because that does change the look of David Jones quite substantially.
Well, we've already got food in some of our stores, but it's only 4 stores. It's relatively limited offer, and we believe we can do much more with it. We believe the David Jones customer is by nature a foodie. They're engaged in food, and food seems to have become the new fashion. And I think food can be interactive, engaging, add value to the store, add a point of interest to the store.
But you're talking about new stores, possibly discrete food stores.
We're some way off of that, Tikki, to be honest. We need to get the core business right, food in our existing stores right, and then we might roll it out to smaller stores. We're not seeking to become a supermarket, but if you look at the Woolworths, the group that owns David Jones and Country Road, food is part of our DNA, and the food we're talking about is great quality, beautiful tasting, well presented, and predominantly fresh food.
And interestingly, you're looking at, on the supply side, you're looking at getting your suppliers in South Africa to invest in Australia.
But you know, most of our suppliers in South Africa are exclusive to us. They've invested with us for a very long time. They've built their own facilities, they have their own product development, we work with them, and we seek to have a long-term relationship that recognises the need to have a sustainable sharing of profit over time. And that's worked really well for us. We've ended up with, I think, one of the best food offers in the world, and there's no reason why we can't do that here. And certainly we can take local supply, we can take local produce, we can work with them, but we're also seeing our suppliers that know our business well prepared to come in and invest with us. If we want to move in this direction, they'll move with us, because that's the type of relationship we have with our supply base.
There's a lot of talk around GST at the moment. We've got the New South Wales Premier suggesting an increase in the GST from 10 to 15%. How will that impact the business?
Look, I think we've experienced, I've been here around long enough to experience GST or VAT a few times now, and you see a very pronounced short-term impact. And it's going to be, you know, obviously if GST increases, you're going to get a drive for increased sales before the sales tax is introduced, and then a real tail off in the period thereafter. Whether it impacts demand or not materially in the longer term is more questionable. I'd rather they didn't, but I think, you know, it's a level playing field. We'll all be similarly impacted, and how we manage it within our own business, I think at the end of the day will be relatively similar.
I mentioned near the beginning that, you know, some of the moves that you've making must clearly have been low-hanging fruit. We've got a situation now where Myer is in a period of struggling and redefining itself. Zara and H&M seem to be having their own difficulties. Once the competition comes back at you, how well placed are you going forward with that competition?
Look, I think the things we are doing allows us to be better and better positioned against the competition. We're one of the few retail companies in Australia that are really investing in new stores, new systems, new processes, better people, better stores. So I think that will position us, and playing catch-up is very hard. Once you've taken market share from someone, once you've taken a customer from someone, it's very bloody difficult for them to get it back. And so I think we will be well positioned. But it's tough out there, and you know, the internationals are going to continue to come, and we've got to be able to compete. And there's no point in, you know, trying to stop it, pretending it's not going to happen. It is. So, you know, that was the reason we wanted to create this scale. We wanted to ensure that we understood our customer, we could get fashionable, great product at great price, constantly available to our customers in Australia and in South Africa, and position our business as one of the bigger businesses in the Southern Hemisphere that can really compete with these Northern Hemisphere international players.
Lastly, I asked you last year whether you were going to do anything with the property portfolio at David Jones, and you said no, you're not thinking about that. Now, any more thoughts today?
Oh, you asked me that about food. I said that about food as well. So it's I'll give you the straight answer on where we are with our property right now. We see the opportunity ultimately to have the two of the best retail department stores, not just in the Southern Hemisphere but in the world, and we want to invest very significant amounts of money both in Melbourne and in Sydney to create exactly that. So we have the support of the board. We're looking to define exactly how we do that. But what we know, if we don't create a great environment that's full of energy, that really engages the customer, creates theatre, gives a reason for people to come to the CBD, come to a physical store, then we don't have a future as a retailer or as a department store. So over the next 2 or 3 years, that's exactly what we'll be doing. And hopefully our customers both in Melbourne and Sydney will enjoy what we've done for a long time to come thereafter.
But you won't be a property developer in and of itself?
No, we're not in that game, so we're not going to seek to do that. All we want to do is create 2 beautiful stores.
Ian Moir, it's been great to talk to you.
Thank you.